Night has fallen. The world outside slowly fades into silence. And now, there is only you in this quiet space. Take a slow breath in, hold it gently, and let it go. Feel your body becoming lighter, as if it is slowly dissolving into the stillness of the night. Imagine yourself walking beneath a sky filled with countless stars. Each one of those distant lights is a story billions of years in the making. Not meant to be answered, only to be heard. Every flicker above you is a whisper from the cosmos, a reminder of how vast, how mysterious, and how ancient existence truly is. Tonight, we will walk together through a long and gentle journey, searching for calm, but also reaching toward the deepest mystery of all. A question older than humanity itself, yet still alive every time it is spoken. Why is there something rather than nothing at all? Night is still young. The stars above shine like distant lanterns scattered across an endless sea of darkness. And here you are, walking slowly, step by step, along the quiet bank of a river. The water flows gently, reflecting fragments of the moon's silver light. Every ripple looks like a memory, sliding away into the unknown. Take another deep breath. Feel the coolness of the night against your skin. The world is silent, yet alive. The rustle of leaves, the soft current of the river, the faraway sound of crickets, all of them come together like an ancient symphony. As you gaze at the water, a thought begins to stir within you. Something older than time itself. A question whispered by countless thinkers, mystics, and wanderers before you. A question that does not demand an answer, but insists on being heard. Why is there something rather than nothing at all? The birth of wonder. Humans have always asked questions. From the first sparks of fire in a cave, to the polished halls of great universities, to the quiet of nights just like this one, we wonder. The ancient Greeks once walked beneath their Mediterranean sky, their robes brushing the dusty ground, asking questions about existence, motion, and change. They wanted to know why the sun rises, why rivers never cease to flow, why stars keep returning every night. But beyond all those questions lay one that was deeper, more mysterious, and perhaps even more unsettling. Why is there something? Why not nothing? For if nothing is the natural state, if emptiness is all there should ever be, then how did existence arrive? This thought is so enormous, so heavy, that philosophers called it the oldest question. And tonight, here by this river, it is yours to carry too. The weight of nothingness. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine nothing. Not just darkness, not just empty space, but a true absence of everything. No stars, no rivers, no sound, no space, no time, no you. A void so complete that even the word void does not belong there. A silence beyond silence. A stillness beyond stillness. And yet, here you are, sitting by a river, breathing air, hearing the whispers of water and wind. Here is proof that nothing is not the only option. Existence insists on itself, something island. And that is the mystery. Parmenides and the Greek puzzle. More than 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Parmenides argued that nothing cannot exist. To even imagine nothing is already to give it a kind of being. For him, the universe could never come from nothing, because nothing has no power to give birth. This sounds strange, doesn't it? Yet, the thought remains powerful even today. Every time you try to imagine a total absence, your mind quietly fills it with something. A blank canvas, a dark space, an empty room. But even emptiness is already something. So, if nothing cannot be imagined, maybe it cannot exist. And if nothing cannot exist, then something must always be. But does that mean the universe is eternal without beginning? Or did it still somehow emerge from nothing, in a way we cannot yet understand? Religion and the Creator. For thousands of years, many cultures answered this riddle with faith. They said, there is something because a creator chose to make it so. The universe exists because a divine hand set it into motion. In Genesis, it is written, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." In Hindu philosophy, Brahman, the ultimate reality, is the ground of all being. In Islamic thought, Allah says, "Be," and it island. For believers, the mystery of existence is not a puzzle, but a reflection of divine will. There is something rather than nothing, because it was meant to be. And yet, even then, some thinkers asked, why would a creator exist rather than nothing at all? Who or what gives existence to the creator? The question only deepens. The river and the stars. As you open your eyes again, you notice the river reflecting not just the moon, but the faint glow of distant stars. Each ripple carries both earth and sky. The sound of flowing water reminds you that existence moves. It flows. It does not remain still. Above you, the stars remind you that existence stretches far beyond what you can see. Billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars, each star perhaps with worlds unknown. All of it, instead of nothing. And within that vastness, you are here. Small, fragile, temporary, yet undeniably part of existence. Toward the cosmos, the river narrows. Your gaze rises higher. The trees thin out, and now the night sky becomes your true companion. The Milky Way arches across the heavens, a river of light above to match the river of water below. Each star, each glimmer, a reminder of the mystery we are chasing. Philosophy began with this wonder. Religion answered it with faith. But science, too, in its own way, has tried to respond. And so, in the next steps of our journey, we will walk from this riverbank into the galaxies themselves, to explore not only what is, but why it might exist at all. The river has disappeared behind you now. Your steps guide you toward an open field, where the sky stretches endlessly. Above, the Milky Way glimmers like a pathway of light, drawing your gaze upward into infinity. Breathe slowly. Let the vastness settle into your chest. Let your heart beat with the rhythm of the universe. You are no longer just walking on Earth. You are walking into the stars. The scientific dawn. For most of human history, the stars seemed eternal. The night sky felt unchanging, like a cosmic ceiling painted with fire. But in the last century, science revealed a truth even more astonishing. The universe had a beginning. Astronomers, looking through powerful telescopes, saw galaxies rushing away from us, as if space itself was stretching, carrying worlds like leaves on a flowing river. This discovery led to the idea now called the Big Bang, the Great Expansion. Imagine winding back the cosmic clock. Every galaxy, every star, every planet, all retreating closer and closer together. Billions of years shrinking into seconds, until everything, space, time, energy, and matter, is compressed into a single point, a singularity. And then, in an instant beyond human imagination, the universe began to expand. Not into empty space, but creating space as it grew. Not into time, but creating time with its very birth. The Big Bang was not an explosion in space. It was the explosion of space itself. The mystery of the beginning. Close your eyes again. Picture that first moment. Not fire, not sound, but a storm of pure energy. Particles sparking into existence, colliding, shaping, cooling, eventually forming the atoms that would build stars, planets, and, much later, you. Science tells us this happened 13.8 billion years ago, but it cannot yet tell us why. Why did the Big Bang happen at all? Why did reality surge forward instead of resting in silence? The question returns. Some scientists suggest that quantum physics holds the key. That even in a vacuum, particles can appear and vanish. That nothing is unstable, always on the edge of becoming something. Others imagine cycles of universes, endless expansions and collapses, where creation is not a single event, but a rhythm without beginning or end. But even then, The question whispers back. Why this rhythm? Why these laws? Why existence? When non-existence seems easier. The fragile balance. Consider this. The universe is finely tuned. If the expansion after the Big Bang had been even slightly faster, matter would have thinned out, never forming stars or galaxies. If it had been slower, gravity would have pulled everything back, collapsing into eternal darkness. Instead, the balance was just right, just delicate enough to give rise to stars, to planets, to life, and now, to you, listening under this sky. Awe and humility. As you gaze upward, let yourself feel small, not in despair, but in wonder. The light reaching your eyes tonight has traveled for millions of years, crossing the void just to meet you here. Every star you see is a survivor of that first great fire. Every breath you take is filled with atoms forged in ancient stars. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its child, beyond the stars. Now, let your mind drift further, beyond the Milky Way, beyond the clusters of galaxies, into the deep web of cosmic filaments, stretching across the universe. What lies beyond? Does the universe have an edge? Or does it continue forever? A boundless sea of being? If forever. Why? If it ends, what waits on the other side? Again, the question echoes. Why is there something rather than nothing? Science and silence. Science can measure the age of the universe, the speed of its expansion, the composition of its stars. But when it comes to the ultimate why, science grows quiet. Equations describe the how. They trace the dance of particles, the shaping of galaxies, the rhythm of cosmic evolution. But the silence around why remains. And maybe that silence is not a failure. Maybe it is an invitation. Returning to the journey, look once more at the sky. The galaxy arches above you like a cathedral. Every star is a candle, burning in the dark. You feel both tiny and infinite, fragile and eternal. The Big Bang gave birth to everything you see. It gave birth to you. Yet, the mystery remains untouched. Even after billions of years, the question is still alive. Why did existence begin at all? And so, we continue walking, from rivers to galaxies to the edge of knowledge itself, step by step into the mystery. The stars above continue to shimmer, but now, let us look closer. Not at galaxies, not even at stars, but at the smallest scales of reality. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine shrinking down, smaller than dust, smaller than atoms, smaller than the particles that make up atoms. Down there, at the very foundations of existence, we find something stranger than any myth. The quantum world, the illusion of emptiness. To the naked eye, space between stars looks empty. Space between atoms looks empty. Even the space within your own body feels like emptiness waiting to be filled. But quantum physics tells a different story. There is no true emptiness. Even in a perfect vacuum, a space stripped of all matter, all heat, all light, there remains a restless sea, a quantum foam bubbling with possibility. Particles flicker into existence, only to vanish again. Like sparks appearing in the dark, they come and go, without warning, without cause. This, scientists call quantum fluctuations. A vacuum that breathes. Imagine standing in absolute silence. No sound, no air, just nothing. And yet, in that silence, a whisper stirs. That is what the quantum vacuum is like. Not a still void, but a restless, seething ocean, alive with brief appearances of energy. Tiny, virtual particles rise out of the void, dance for the briefest fraction of time, and then dissolve back into nothingness. They do not last, but they are real enough to leave marks on the universe, marks that scientists can measure. The vacuum, it seems, is never truly empty. The question deepens. If nothing is unstable, if emptiness itself trembles with energy, could the universe have been born from such a quantum fluctuation? Some physicists suggest exactly this, that the Big Bang was not the creation of something from absolute nothing, but rather the blossoming of something from a restless, energy-filled vacuum. In this view, existence is not a rare miracle. It is the natural breath of reality. But even then, the question does not vanish, because we must still ask, why does the quantum vacuum exist at all? Why is there this restless sea? Instead of pure nothingness, Heisenberg's shadow, the strange truth of the quantum world, was captured by Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. At the smallest scales, certainty disappears. You cannot know both where a particle is and how fast it moves. Reality itself is blurred, like a dream half remembered. And this uncertainty is what allows energy to arise, even in emptiness. For if everything must be perfectly still, nothing can happen. But because uncertainty exists, motion exists, fluctuation exists, possibility exists, and so something insists on being. The poetic vacuum. Pause here. Picture the dark canvas of the universe. What you call emptiness is not lifeless. It is a canvas, always ready to paint new forms. It is a stage where existence rehearses endlessly, a silence that hums, a void that breathes. The ancients spoke of creation from chaos, a primal energy that birthed the world. Quantum physics, in its own way, tells a similar tale. Chaos remains at the heart of things, and from that chaos, order blooms. The human connection. Look at your own body for a moment. You are made of particles, atoms, molecules, cells, but within you too is emptiness, space so vast between particles that your body is more void than matter, and yet you exist. You feel, you think. Even within the emptiness of you, something insists on being, a conscious flame, born from a quantum sea, the edge of science. Still, science admits its limits. Quantum theory can explain the fluctuations, measure the energies, predict the probabilities, but it cannot yet say why reality is built this way. Why should emptiness not be empty? Why should possibility be woven into the fabric of existence? And most of all, why should there be a fabric at all? Walking through the vacuum. Now, imagine yourself drifting through deep space. The galaxies have faded behind you. No stars, no planets, only the vast black between. At first, it feels like pure nothingness, but slowly, you begin to sense it. The restless hum of the vacuum, the unseen ripples of energy. Even here, in the darkest silence, existence refuses to vanish. Something moves. Something lives. The void is alive. Toward the next mystery. So we have learned that emptiness is not truly empty. That nothingness is unstable. That the universe may have risen from the restless breath of a quantum sea. But the question continues to echo. Why is this sea here at all? Why are there laws of quantum mechanics? Why must emptiness hum with energy? Perhaps the answer lies not in physics alone, but in the possibility of many universes, each with its own laws, its own reality. And so, our journey must continue, beyond this universe, into the realm of the multiverse, step by step, deeper into the mystery. The night sky stretches infinitely above you. The stars no longer feel like distant specks. They feel like gateways, doorways to questions you cannot yet answer. Take a slow breath. Feel the air move through your chest. And imagine this thought. What if our universe is not the only one? A universe among many, For centuries, humans believed the universe was everything. The stars, the planets, the galaxies, all that exists, contained in one infinite whole. But modern science has dared to ask a stranger possibility. Perhaps the cosmos we know, the galaxies we can see, the space and time we inhabit, is only one bubble floating in a vast ocean of universes. This idea is called the multiverse. Bubble universes. Picture soap bubbles drifting in the air. Each bubble is delicate, transparent, yet whole within itself. Our universe could be like one of those bubbles, expanding, floating, surrounded by countless others. Some might be larger, some smaller, some short-lived, some vast and ancient. And perhaps, just beyond the edge of our bubble, another reality breathes. Different laws, different realities. In our universe, light travels at a certain speed. Gravity bends space. Atoms hold together in familiar ways. But in another universe, the rules could be different. Gravity stronger, light slower, matter never forming. Or perhaps universes where life blooms in ways unimaginable. The multiverse suggests that reality is not one story, but an endless library. Each universe a book, each book with its own language, its own plot. And we happen to be reading this one. The anthropic principle. Some scientists use the multiverse to explain why our universe feels so finely tuned. Why is gravity just right for stars to form? Why is the expansion balanced? So galaxies can exist? Why does the universe allow life at all? In a multiverse, billions of universes exist with different laws. Most are barren. Most collapse or expand into nothing. But in a few, the conditions are just right. And in one of those rare universes, life arises. And in one corner of that life, you sit here, listening beneath the stars. Echoes in science. The multiverse is not just fantasy. It is whispered in the equations of cosmology, in the mathematics of string theory, in the inflationary model of the Big Bang. Cosmic inflation suggests that the rapid expansion of the early universe may have created endless bubbles, each one birthing its own universe. String theory imagines that reality has more dimensions than we can see, and in those hidden dimensions, other universes may unfold. Quantum physics itself hints that every possibility may split reality, creating new branches of existence. For every choice, every outcome. In this view, you are not only here, but also elsewhere, walking different paths, in different worlds. The mind's horizon. Pause for a moment. Let your imagination drift. What would another universe feel like? A universe with different colors, different laws of nature, different forms of consciousness? Can you sense the horizon of possibility stretching endlessly like waves upon waves of reality? The multiverse is not proof. It is a question, a daring thought, a horizon beyond the horizon. Philosophy meets science. Philosophers remind us that even if the multiverse exists, the question still remains: why is there a multiverse at all? If infinite universes exist, why should there be this vast sea rather than no sea at all? And if there are endless books in the library of reality, who built the library? Why is there a shelf for stories to unfold, instead of silence forever? Once again, the mystery deepens. Awe at the edge. Stand still now. Imagine looking outward from the edge of our bubble universe. The stars fade, the galaxies dim, and you stand before a boundless dark, a space beyond space. You do not see other universes, yet you can almost sense them. Whispers of other realities, echoes of infinite possibility. It is too vast to comprehend, too strange to fully imagine, and yet it fills you with awe. For if existence is already a miracle, then the thought of endless existences is a miracle multiplied without end. The journey continues. The river of thought carries us further. From the quiet flow of water, to the birth of the Big Bang, to the quantum sea of possibility, and now into the vastness of the multiverse. Each step takes us closer to the edge of what we can know. Each step returns us to the same question. Why is there something rather than nothing? If there is only one universe, why does it exist? If there are infinite universes, why does the multiverse exist at all? And beyond all these possibilities, is there still a greater mystery waiting? Toward the next door, take another deep breath. Look again at the sky above you. Perhaps every star you see is only a window to another possibility. Perhaps this moment, this breath, this thought is one thread woven into an infinite tapestry. We cannot see the whole cloth. We cannot read the entire library. But we can walk, step by step, toward the next question. And so we move on. From the multiverse, the principle that ties it back to us, the anthropic principle, and the mystery of why the universe seems made for life. The stars continue to shimmer above, but now the question becomes more personal. It is no longer just about galaxies or bubbles of universes floating in a cosmic sea. It is about you, here, alive, breathing beneath this sky. The fine balance. Scientists have discovered something astonishing. The universe seems finely tuned, as if every dial of existence were set to just the right value. If gravity was slightly stronger, stars would collapse too quickly. If it were weaker, galaxies would never form. If the nuclear forces inside atoms were even a little different, no stable matter could exist. No stars, no planets, no life. The balance is razor thin. Yet, here we are. The anthropic principle. To explain this strange perfection, philosophers and scientists propose the anthropic principle. It says, the universe appears just right for life, because only in such a universe could beings like us exist to notice it. In other words, we see the universe as finely tuned, not because it was made for us, but because we could not exist in one that wasn't. Still, the thought feels mysterious. Why should any universe allow life at all? Coincidence or design? Some call it coincidence. In an infinite multiverse, there must be at least one universe with the right conditions, and we happen to be in that one. Others see intention. They believe the universe is not random, but designed. A cosmos shaped to bring forth life, to bring forth awareness, to bring forth you. Science offers probabilities. Faith offers purpose. But the awe remains. No matter which lens you choose, you, the observer, take a slow breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. You are not separate from this fine balance. The carbon in your body was forged in stars. The oxygen you breathe was shaped by the chemistry of life. The fact that you can sit here, wondering at the night sky, is the direct result of billions of years of delicate harmony. You are not just observing the universe. You are its child, its witness, its voice, the deeper question. But the anthropic principle, while offering perspective, does not silence the mystery. If the universe is fine-tuned for life, why should life matter? Why should the laws of physics bend? To allow consciousness to bloom? Why should the cosmos care? For eyes that see the stars, or minds that ask questions in the night? Perhaps this is the heart of the wonder, that out of silence, there arose beings who could sing. That out of darkness, there emerged eyes to see. That out of mystery, there appeared minds, capable of asking why. Walking onward, so you continue your journey beneath the stars. The air is cool, the night deep, the question still alive. The universe is balanced, delicately tuned, and in that balance, you exist. But why should balance exist at all? Why is there harmony instead of chaos? The anthropic principle answers part of the puzzle, but beyond it lies another horizon. And so, with quiet steps, you walk toward it, into the next mystery, where philosophy meets existence itself. The night has grown deeper now. The stars above seem quieter, as if listening with you. Your steps slow down. The question returns, more intimate this time, pressing against the silence of your own heart. Philosophy's oldest question. Many thinkers have explored existence, but few place the question so plainly, so powerfully, as the German philosopher Martin Heidegger. He asked, why is there something rather than nothing? Not what is being made of, not how did the universe begin, but the very ground beneath all those questions. Why does being itself exist? Why not nothing, beyond science, into existence? Science can describe the Big Bang, the quantum vacuum, the multiverse. It can map galaxies, measure radiation, and trace the birth of atoms. But Heidegger warned, even if we explain how things arose, we have not answered why they exist at all. For why there is something is not a scientific puzzle, but a mystery of existence itself. The shock of being. Pause for a moment. Look at your hand. Look at the ground beneath your feet. Feel the air move through your lung. Now imagine none of it. No hand, no ground, no breath, no world, no stars, not even nothingness to hold them. And then realize, somehow, impossibly, things are. This sudden awareness is what Heidegger called the shock of being, the raw astonishment that anything exists at all, the weight of nothingness. Heidegger believed that nothing is not merely absence, but something we confront in moments of silence, of death, of deep anxiety. When all familiar things fall away, we stand face to face with the void. And in that confrontation, the miracle of being becomes clear. To exist, even for a moment, is already extraordinary. The mystery of presence. For Heidegger, being is not just objects and matter. It is presence, the there-ness of the world, the river you walked beside earlier, the stars above your head, the voice you hear now. Each is a reminder that something is here. And no matter how far we search, we cannot escape the wonder. Why does anything present itself at all? Awe and humility. Take a slow breath. Let the thought sink in. You are alive. You exist, not as an accident, not as a certainty, but as part of a vast, impossible mystery. The question is not meant to be solved quickly. It is meant to be lived, to be carried, like a lantern through the night, walking deeper. So you walk on. The ground is soft beneath your feet. The air still carries the cool scent of night. You do not have an answer, But you have the question, and perhaps that is enough. For the question itself reminds you to wonder. It reminds you that life is not ordinary, that being is not guaranteed. And in that wonder, you find humility. You find awe. You find a reason to keep walking toward the next horizon. The path before you continues, from rivers to galaxies, from quantum seas to infinite universes, from science to philosophy. All lead back to the same mystery. Why is there something rather than nothing? And now, a new question waits ahead. Can science and philosophy ever meet? Or are we forever meant to carry both voices side by side in the silence of existence? The night is quiet, but inside your mind, two voices begin to speak. One is the voice of science, clear, precise, armed with telescopes and equations. The other is the voice of philosophy, ancient, poetic, carrying questions older than memory. Both look at the same stars. Both ask the same question. But their paths are not the same. The language of science. Science tells us how. It explains the rhythm of the planets, the birth of galaxies, the dance of particles too small to see. It maps the past with mathematics, predicts the future with probability. It says, the universe began 13.8 billion years ago. It expanded, cooled, and from clouds of hydrogen, stars were born. It says, you are made of atoms forged in stars. You are a pattern of chemistry, woven by evolution, guided by natural law. Science speaks with clarity. It gives us answers we can test, measure, and share. The language of philosophy. Philosophy tells us why. It asks questions that cannot be weighed or measured, yet refuse to disappear. Why do laws of physics exist at all? Why should numbers and equations describe reality so perfectly? Why should there be order instead of chaos? Philosophy reminds us that even if science explained every star, every atom, every brain cell, we would still face the deeper silence. Why is there something rather than nothing? Where they meet. And yet, science and philosophy are not enemies. They are companions. Science without philosophy is powerful but blind to meaning. Philosophy without science is rich with wonder but unmoored from reality. Together, they give us two lenses. Science sharpens the details. Philosophy opens the horizon. One shows us the how. The other reminds us of the why. The limits of both. Still, both have their limits. Science cannot prove why laws exist. It cannot reach beyond its own tools. Philosophy cannot test its own answers. It cannot measure the truth it dreams. And so, we are left between them, not lost, but suspended. Suspended in wonder, the human place. Take a slow breath. Feel your chest rise. Your lungs expand. You are both scientist and philosopher. You use reason, observation, and evidence. But you also carry mystery, faith, and awe. Every heartbeat in your chest is a scientific fact and a philosophical miracle. Both voices live in you, toward the silence. As you walk further into the night, you realize something. The deepest questions may never be answered fully, not by science, not by philosophy. But perhaps the value of the question is not in its solution, but in its presence. It humbles you. It awakens you. It invites you to see existence as the astonishing gift that it island. The road ahead. So the two voices walk with you. Science with its clarity. Philosophy with its wonder. They do not silence the mystery. They keep it alive. And as you move forward, a new thought arises. If nothing is impossible to imagine, What does true nothingness mean? Is it even real? Or is it only an illusion of the mind? Ahead lies the next mystery, the search for absolute nothing. You pause on the path. The air feels heavier now, as if the night itself leans closer to hear your thoughts. The question shifts again. Not, why is there something, but can there ever truly be nothing? Imagining nothing. Close your eyes. Try to picture nothing. You might see a dark space, but darkness is still something new. A field, a canvas, a backdrop for thought. You might imagine silence, but silence is the absence of sound. Within a larger reality of air, of space, of possibility. Every attempt to think of nothing creates something, an image, a shadow, a concept. Your mind refuses to hold emptiness. It fills the void with fragments of being. Parmenides' puzzle. The ancient philosopher Parmenides argued long ago, maybe in his Ideas, nothing cannot be. To speak of it, to think of it, already gives it a kind of presence. And if it has presence, then it is not nothing. So, in his view, existence must always be. The universe, in some form, can never be erased. It may change, it may transform, but it cannot fall into true non-being. Science and nothing. Modern science touches this puzzle too. Physicists study the vacuum, but even the emptiest space is never truly empty. Quantum fluctuations ripple there. Energy hums, possibility stirs. And even if all matter dissolved, the laws of physics remain. The potential for being cannot be silenced. Perhaps nothing is not an option at all. The paradox of thought. Here is the paradox. To ask about nothing is to create something. Your question itself is being. Your thought itself is presence. Even the idea of absence is carried by existence. So maybe absolute nothingness is not only unthinkable, it is impossible. The universe may not exist instead of nothing. It may exist because nothing that was never real to begin with. The miracle of being. Take a slow breath. Feel the air enter your body. Feel the ground beneath your feet. If nothingness is impossible, then every moment of existence is not competing with emptiness. It is simply what must be. And yet, this necessity does not erase the wonder. If anything, it deepens it. For the fact that you are here, alive, breathing, conscious, remains a miracle. Even if nothingness was never possible, toward the next step. So you walk again, through the night, with a lighter heart. Absolute nothingness slips through your fingers every time you try to hold it. And, in its place, there is only being. The presence of the world. The rhythm of existence. But if nothing is impossible, and something must always be, does that mean time itself has no beginning, no end? Ahead lies another mystery. The nature of time, and whether eternity has always held existence in its arms. The night deepens, and with it, the mystery of time itself. You have walked through rivers, through galaxies, through quantum seas. Now the path brings you to the edge of another question. If nothing is impossible, does that mean existence has always been? Is time eternal, or did it begin? The flow of time. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Each inhale, each exhale. A rhythm, a pulse of time. Time feels like a river, always flowing forward. Moments slip away, never to return. Past behind you, future ahead, the present slipping through your fingers. But is time truly a river? Or is it something stranger? The beginning of time. Modern cosmology suggests That time itself began with the Big Bang. Before that moment, there was no before, no ticking clocks, no passing seconds, not even emptiness waiting. The birth of the universe was also the birth of time. But if time had a beginning, what does it mean to speak of eternity? What lies beyond the first instant, if beyond itself requires time, the eternal universe? Some philosophers and scientists disagree. They imagine time without a beginning, an eternal cycle, worlds expanding and collapsing, universes dying and being born again, an endless heartbeat of creation. In this view, existence does not need a start. It simply is, stretching infinitely into the past and endlessly into the future. Human experience of time. For you, time is both simple and strange. You measure it in hours, in days, in years. But when you stop and listen, you feel its mystery. Why should there be now? Why not only past, or only future? Why do you exist in this precise moment, and not another? Perhaps now is an illusion. Perhaps all moments exist together, like pages in a book, already written, waiting to be read. Eternity in the present. Take another slow breath. Feel this single moment fully. The air in your lungs, the ground beneath your feet, the stars above your head. This moment is eternity compressed into an instant. The past led to it. The future unfolds from it. But right now, in this heartbeat, the whole of time gathers. The unanswered horizon. So is existence eternal, or did it begin? Science offers models. Philosophy offers reflections. But the truth remains hidden, wrapped in mystery. Perhaps time is a line. Perhaps it is a circle. Perhaps it is something beyond our imagination. Whatever it is, you walk within it, a traveler carried on its unseen current, toward the next mystery. The stars above remind you that billions of years have passed since the first light. Yet here you are, in this moment, asking questions as old as existence. If time itself is mysterious, then perhaps the nature of reality is even deeper still. Ahead lies another path, a question not of time or space, but of mind. For what role does consciousness play in making something real? The night feels different now, not because the stars have changed, but because you have. Your steps are slower, your thoughts heavier, and one question rises quietly within you. If the universe exists, does it exist without someone to see it? The observer's role. Science tells us that the universe is vast and indifferent. Galaxies spin whether or not anyone notices. Stars burn without caring who watches. And yet, the strange world of quantum physics suggests something deeper. Experiments show that particles behave differently when observed. A photon, a particle of light, can act like a wave, spread out, uncertain, until it is measured. Then, suddenly, it chooses one state. Does this mean that consciousness shapes reality? That the act of observing brings the universe into being? The mystery of awareness. Pause here. Feel your own awareness. You are not just seeing the stars. You are aware that you are seeing. You are aware that you are aware. This strange mirror of the mind makes you more than a collection of atoms. It makes you a witness, a point where the universe becomes conscious of itself. Philosophical echoes. Philosophers across centuries have wrestled with this mystery. Bishop Berkeley once claimed, "To be is to be perceived." For him, existence itself was tied to awareness. Others disagreed, arguing that the universe does not need witnesses. That reality exists independently, whether or not any mind is there to see it. But the fact remains. Without consciousness, who would ask the question at all? Without awareness, what meaning would existence carry? The universe, looking at itself. Take another slow breath. Look at your hand. Look at the stars. Every atom in your body was born in ancient stars. Now, those same atoms look back at the night sky. You are the universe, observing itself. Matter reflecting on matter. Energy becoming aware of energy. This realization is as humbling as it is profound. Consciousness and the cosmos. Some scientists argue that consciousness is just an accident, an emergent property of complex brains, a flicker in the dark, soon to vanish. Others see it as fundamental, woven into the very fabric of reality, as essential as space and time. If the latter is true, then existence and awareness cannot be separated. The universe exists because it knows itself, the deeper wonder. And so the question sharpens. Are you a small creature in a vast, indifferent cosmos? Or are you the very key that makes the cosmos real? Perhaps both are true. Perhaps your smallness and your significance are two sides of the same mystery. Toward the next path, the stars above shimmer silently. They do not reveal the answer, but your awareness of them, that spark of consciousness, is undeniable. So you walk onward, carrying the question with you. Does reality need an observer? Or does it exist on its own, forever beyond our gaze? The path leads forward, toward another horizon, toward ancient wisdom, where Eastern traditions whisper that emptiness itself is full of meaning. The night is still, the stars seem to breathe with you, and as you walk further, your path begins to cross into another wisdom. Ancient voices from the East, whispering of emptiness, not as absence, but as possibility. The idea of shunyata. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a word, shunyata. It is often translated as emptiness, but it does not mean nothingness. Instead, it means that nothing exists independently. Everything arises in relation, interconnected, interwoven. A flower blooms because of soil, sunlight, rain, and time. Take away one of these, and the flower could not be. So too with all things. Nothing stands alone. Nothing has being without the web that supports it. Emptiness, then, is not a void. It is the fertile ground from which all arises. Taoist whispers. In Taoism, the Tao is described as the way, the source, the flowing mystery of existence. The Tao Te Ching tells us, being is born of non-being. Emptiness is not the enemy of being, it is its companion. The hollow of a bowl makes it useful. The empty space within a room is what allows you to live inside it. Here, emptiness is potential. The silence that allows sound to exist. The space that allows form to arise. Unity of opposites. Eastern thought often resists extremes. Being and non-being are not locked in battle. They are two sides of the same coin. Like night and day, like inhale and exhale, they define one another. To say something exists already implies nothing does not. And to say nothing exists already implies something does not. Together, they form a unity, a rhythm, a balance. Meditation on emptiness. Pause here. Breathe in, breathe out. Let yourself feel the emptiness within. Not as a lack, but as a spaciousness. The space between your thoughts. The stillness behind every sound. The silence that makes music possible. This is the emptiness Eastern mysticism speaks of. Not nothing, but openness. Not absence, but infinite potential. Consciousness and emptiness. When you become still, when you rest in silence, you may feel it. That emptiness is not frightening, but freeing. It allows you to see that your existence is not separate from the universe. You are not a lone island. You are a wave in the ocean of being, arising and falling, never apart from the sea itself. A different kind of answer. So when Eastern wisdom hears the question, why is there something rather than nothing? Its answer may be this: because something and nothing are not two. They are one dance, forever circling each other. Being arises from emptiness, and emptiness gives birth to being. One cannot be without the other. Toward the next mystery. The stars above seem softer now, as if their silence holds this wisdom. Perhaps the West seeks answers, while the East seeks balance. Perhaps truth is found, not in choosing one side, but in holding both. As you continue walking, you feel lighter, not because you found the final answer, but because the mystery now feels like a companion, not an enemy. Ahead lies another horizon. The question is not only about the universe, but about the limits of knowledge itself. Can we ever know the answer? Or is the mystery meant to remain? The stars above seem endless, yet even as you gaze at them, you know there are horizons, beyond which your eyes cannot reach. So too with knowledge. Science has taken us far, from atoms to galaxies, from DNA to black holes. But even science has its limits. The power of science. Think of all that science has revealed. It mapped the age of the universe. It traced the birth of stars. It uncovered the code of life in strands of DNA. Through telescopes, we look back billions of years. Through microscopes, we peer into worlds smaller than dust. Science explains how matter forms, how energy flows, how time bends. It is a lantern carried into darkness, showing us wonders our ancestors could only dream of. The boundaries of knowledge. And yet, for all its brilliance, science is bound. It can measure, but only what can be observed. It can test, but only what can be repeated. It can predict, but only within the rules it already assumes. When asked, why is there something rather than nothing? Science grows quiet. It can describe the Big Bang, but not why there was a bang at all. It can model the quantum vacuum, but not why the laws of quantum mechanics exist. It can imagine multiverses, but not why there should be universes at all. At the edge of its map, the lantern flickers. Beyond lies shadow. Humility in discovery. This is not failure. It is humility. Science does not end the mystery. It deepens it. Each answer leads to more questions. Each discovery opens another horizon. The more we know, the more we see how much remains unknown. Like a sailor reaching the edge of the known world, science shows us not just land, but the vast ocean beyond. The beauty of the unsolved. Perhaps the greatest gift of science is not its answers, but its questions. The image of the cosmos expanding, the vision of particles flickering in the vacuum, the idea of infinite universes. These are not solutions. They are invitations. Invitations to wonder, to dream, to feel awe at the sheer strangeness of reality. And in that awe, we are reminded that knowing everything is not the point. Living the mystery island, the human horizon. Take a slow breath. Feel your own mind at the edge. Beyond your thoughts, there is silence. Science can guide us to the brink. Philosophy can whisper into the unknown. But the final horizon remains hidden. And maybe it is meant to be. maybe the question lives, so that we may never fall asleep to wonder toward the next mystery. So you walk on, the night wide around you. The stars shimmer, but you sense more than light. You sense silence, depth, and the weight of what cannot be known. The mystery is not an enemy. It is a companion. And as you step forward, another thought arises. If the limits of science leave us in wonder, perhaps the mystery is not about knowledge at all, but about eternity itself. Ahead waits another horizon. The question of everlasting being. Has existence always been? Will it ever end? The path beneath your feet grows softer. The night is silent, but the silence feels endless. As if it has no beginning and no end. You pause, and you wonder, has existence always been here? Or will it one day fade away? The idea of eternity, to imagine eternity, is to stretch the mind beyond its limits. Think of time without a starting point. No first dawn, no initial spark, just endless being, stretching back forever. And then imagine time without an ending. No final dusk, no collapse into nothing, just an infinite horizon, receding forever ahead. It is dizzying, it is overwhelming, and yet it is possible. Eternal universe theories. Some scientists have explored this thought. They suggest the universe may not be a one-time event. Instead, it could be part of a cycle. A universe expands. It slows. It collapses. From its collapse, a new one is born. Like the breath of reality itself. Inhaling, exhaling, without beginning, without end. Others imagine a steady-state cosmos, where matter is constantly created. As the universe expands, keeping everything in balance, eternally present. These ideas remind us, eternity is not only for philosophers. It is whispered in equations, with only the spirit, hinted at in cosmic models. The fear of ending. And yet, there are also theories of ending. One day, the stars may all burn out. Galaxies may drift apart. The universe may expand into cold darkness. A heat death, where nothing new can ever form. Or, the expansion may reverse, pulling everything back together until all collapses into a final fire. These possibilities remind us that eternity may not belong to us, that even existence itself might be fragile. The personal horizon. But pause again. Feel your breath. Each inhale, each exhale is its own eternity. For in the present moment, there is no beginning, no ending. There is only now. Perhaps eternity is not measured in billions of years. Perhaps it is measured in the fullness of a single instant. A moment lived completely, without clinging to past or future. The mystery of always. So, has existence always been? No one can say for certain. But the thought itself is a doorway. It opens your heart to the vastness that surrounds you. Whether the cosmos is eternal, or whether it will one day fade, the miracle remains. You are here, now. A brief spark in the endless rhythm of being. Toward the next question. The stars above shine on, indifferent to beginning and end. To them, time is a rhythm, not a boundary. As you walk forward, you realize the mystery of eternity is not only about the universe. It is also about meaning. If everything lasts forever, what is the purpose of being? If everything ends, what meaning does existence hold? Ahead lies the next horizon. The role of humanity in this endless search. The question is no longer cosmic alone. It is personal. The stars above burn with indifferent light. They do not ask questions. They do not search for meaning. They simply are. But you are different. Human beings look upward, feel awe, and whisper into the silence. Why? The human question. Across every age and culture, humanity has asked about purpose. Not only, how does the world work? But, what is my place in it? We build myths to explain it. We tell stories of gods, of creation, of destiny. We write philosophies, crafting meaning from reason, from reflection, from doubt, and even in science. Beneath every equation, there lingers the human thirst to know why anything matters at all. The search in religion. For many, the purpose is found in the divine. God or gods give existence intention. Life is a journey, a gift, a responsibility. We are here not by chance, but by design. This belief gives comfort, structure, and a sense of belonging to something greater than ourselves. The search in philosophy. For others, meaning is not given. It must be created. Existential thinkers like Sartre argued that the universe is silent. It offers no answers. But in that silence, humans are free. Free to shape their own path. Free to give their lives value. Through choice, through action, through love. Meaning, in this view, is not found. It is made. The search in everyday life. And still, meaning is not only in grand theories. It is in the small things. In the warmth of friendship. In the laughter of children. In the act of kindness to a stranger. In these fleeting moments, existence feels full. Not explained, but lived. The dual nature of humanity. We are both cosmic and fragile. Made of stardust, yet destined to return to dust. We stand between infinity and mortality. Between galaxies and graves. And it is here, in this in-between, that the search for meaning becomes urgent. Because life is brief, it matters. Because death is certain, we long for purpose. The ongoing journey, so humanity keeps walking, through myths, through science, through philosophy, always asking, always seeking, never satisfied, yet always enriched by the very act of searching. Perhaps this is our true role. Not to solve the mystery, but to live within it, to carry the question as both burden and gift toward the next horizon. The night above continues, vast and silent, but within you burns a small flame, the human spirit endlessly searching. The next step of the path appears. If meaning is so central to human life, what happens when knowledge itself reaches a wall? What happens when we face questions that cannot be answered at all? Ahead lies the mystery of unknowing and the beauty of questions that may never be resolved. The night deepens further. The stars above do not speak. They offer no explanations, no answers to the riddles in your heart. And yet, there is beauty in their silence. The nature of questions. Humanity has always lived with questions. Where did we come from? Why are we here? What lies beyond life and death? Some questions have found answers. We know the age of the Earth, the movements of the planets, the laws of physics that shape our world. But others, the deepest questions, remain untouched. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why does existence breathe at all? These questions stand before us, like mountains too high to climb. The value of mystery. It would be easy to see this as failure, to believe that unanswered questions are a wound in our knowledge. But perhaps they are treasures. Mystery humbles us. It reminds us that our minds, though vast and capable, are not infinite. Mystery inspires us. It calls us to wonder, to dream, to imagine realities beyond sight. Without questions, there would be no discovery. Without mystery, no awe. The poetic silence. Close your eyes for a moment. Listen. Do you hear it? The silence of the night is not empty. It is full. Full of questions unspoken, full of truths unseen. Sometimes the beauty of life is not in finding answers, but in dwelling in that silence, in letting the mystery be what it island. The human spirit. We are creatures of curiosity. Even knowing some questions may never yield answers, we ask them anyway. And in asking, we are changed. We become larger than the moment we inhabit. We become participants in the vast dialogue of existence. Our questions are part of the universe's story. Our wonder is one of the ways the cosmos expresses itself. Embracing the unknown. Take another breath. Feel the air move through you. Notice how you do not need to know where every molecule of oxygen came from to be nourished by it. So too with existence. We may never know why there is something, but we can live within it, breathe within it, find beauty in it. The unknown does not diminish us. It deepens us toward the next horizon. The stars above remain silent, but now you do not see silence as absence. You see it as presence, a mystery that holds you gently. The unanswered question is not a wall, but a doorway. Ahead, the path continues, toward the horizon of infinity, toward the possibility that existence itself may have no limit. The mystery grows larger, but so does your wonder. The path ahead feels endless. Each step you take beneath the stars only deepens the sense of vastness around you. And now, a new word begins to echo in your mind. Infinity. To imagine infinity is to stretch the mind beyond what it can hold. Numbers go on forever. 1, 2, 3, without end. Space may do the same. Galaxies beyond galaxies, a cosmos without edge. Time, too, might be infinite, stretching endlessly behind us, reaching endlessly ahead. Infinity is not a number. It is the absence of limit. It is forever. Infinity stirs awe, but also unease. The human mind longs for boundaries, a beginning, an ending, a shape it can understand. But infinity offers none. It says, there is always more. Beyond every horizon, another horizon. You cannot hold it. You cannot finish it. You can only stand before it, in wonder and in humility. Look up at the sky. Even with the best telescopes, we see only a fraction. Billions of galaxies stretch beyond sight, and beyond them, perhaps billions more. If space is infinite, then there is no center, no edge, only endlessness. If time is infinite, then existence has no first breath, no final silence. Infinity swallows beginnings and endings alike. Mathematicians explore infinity like a vast ocean. They discover strange truths. There are infinities larger than other infinities. There are infinite numbers between 0 and 1. Even in the smallest space, the infinite hides. Infinity is not just size. It is depth. It is the endless potential, woven into reality itself. The human place. Take a slow breath. You are finite. Your life has boundaries. A beginning in birth, an ending in death. And yet, you stand within infinity. Your finite self touches the infinite cosmos. This paradox is the essence of being human. To be small, yet to sense what has no limit. For some, infinity is a glimpse of the divine, an eternal presence, beyond all measure. For others, it is a reminder of mystery itself, that existence cannot be contained, only experienced. Either way, infinity calls you to humility, to awe, to reverence. The stars above are countless, and even if you named them one by one, the sky would never end. Infinity cannot be conquered. It can only be embraced. And as you continue walking, you realize the question of existence is not only about vastness, but about story. If infinity holds us, what role do we play within it? What part does humanity take in this endless mystery of being? Ahead lies the next horizon, humanity's eternal search, its role within the cosmos, and the meaning we bring to infinity itself. The stars above glow with ancient light. They have burned for billions of years, long before the first humans walked the earth, and they will continue shining long after we are gone. Yet here you are, a fragile creature beneath the infinite sky, asking questions the stars themselves never ask. This is humanity's role, to wonder, the cosmic witness. The universe does not need us. To spin galaxies, to ignite suns, to weave the fabric of space and time. But without us, who would see it? Who would marvel at the beauty of a nebula, or trace the patterns of starlight, or name the constellations that burn above? Perhaps humanity's role is not to create the universe, but to witness it, to be the eyes and ears of existence itself, the storytellers of being. From the first cave paintings, to myths sung by firelight, to books, equations, and telescopes, we have told stories about what we see. We are storytellers. We give shape to the formless. We make meaning from silence. The cosmos unfolds, and humanity answers with words, with symbols, with dreams. In doing so, we become part of the story ourselves. Fragility and importance. Take a slow breath. Feel the limits of your body. You are finite. You are fragile. And yet, within your small frame, the vastness of the universe reflects itself. You hold questions that stretch beyond galaxies. You carry wonder that touches eternity. Fragile, and yet important. The responsibility of awareness. If humanity is the witness, then we also carry responsibility to care for the planet that birthed us, to cherish the life that consciousness makes possible, to use our knowledge not only to understand, but to protect. For in this thin layer of atmosphere, on this small blue planet, the universe has found its voice. What we do with that voice shapes not only us, but the story of existence itself. The eternal search. Perhaps we will never find final answers. Perhaps the question, why is there something rather than nothing, will always remain. But that does not diminish us. It defines us. To search is human. To ask is human. To stand beneath infinity and whisper, why, is our eternal role. Toward the next horizon, look again at the stars. They do not answer, but they shine, and you shine in return. Humanity's place is not at the center of the cosmos. It is within the mystery, as seeker, as storyteller, as witness, and as you continue walking, you sense another thought rising. If humanity searches forever, will we ever reach truth? Or will the greatest truths always remain beyond our grasp? Mysteries unsolved, but beautiful to behold? The next horizon awaits. The humility of knowing that some answers may never come. The night grows darker now. The air is still, the stars patient. You continue walking, but your pace slows. It feels as though the universe itself is asking you to listen, to sit with the silence. And in that silence, you begin to realize, not knowing is its own kind of wisdom, the limits of answers. All your life, you have been taught to seek answers, to solve puzzles, to complete equations, to finish stories with clear endings. But some questions resist. They do not yield, no matter how deeply we search. Why does existence exist? What lies beyond the edge of time? What is the ultimate nature of reality? These questions may have no final solution, or perhaps the answers are forever beyond the reach of human language, human thought. The gift of mystery. At first, this feels like defeat. To not know seems like failure. But pause. Take a slow breath. Feel the air move through you. The mystery itself is a gift. It humbles you. It reminds you of your place in the vastness. It keeps you awake to wonder. If everything were explained, would there still be awe? Would the stars still make you tremble if you had every answer written in your hand? Perhaps it is the unknown that makes them shine so brightly. Ancient wisdom, philosophers and mystics across ages to have embraced this humility. Socrates once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing that you know nothing." Zen teachers remind their students to sit with the question, not to rush to answer it, to dwell in silence, to see beauty in the unspoken. For wisdom is not in conquering the mystery, but in living with it. The freedom of not knowing. Notice the weight lift from your shoulders when you accept that some things may remain unsolved. Not knowing frees you. It allows you to see life as it is, not as a problem to be fixed, but as a wonder to be lived. It opens space for curiosity, for awe, for humility. In not knowing, you become a child again, eyes wide, heart open, ready to be surprised, living the question. So instead of chasing final answers, perhaps the task is to live the questions, to carry them gently, like lanterns in the night, to let them light your way, even if they never reveal the destination. This is not weakness. It is strength. It is the strength of humility, the courage to face infinity and smile toward the next horizon. The stars above remain silent, but their silence no longer feels empty. It feels full, full of mystery, full of presence, full of meaning beyond words. And as you walk forward, you sense that the journey is nearing its final steps. The question remains unsolved, but that is the point. For now comes the final reflection. The human search for meaning may never end, and that is its beauty. The night is almost complete. The stars stretch endlessly, and the path beneath your feet feels softer, as though it is carrying you now. You realize something profound. The mystery of existence may never be solved, and yet the search itself gives life its meaning. The journey as purpose. From the earliest humans, who painted stars on cave walls, to philosophers under the Greek sun, to scientists gazing through telescopes, humanity has always searched. Each age has carried the same questions, and each age has found new ways to express them. The search binds us together. It is a thread connecting generations, a river of curiosity flowing through time. The purpose is not in finding a final answer. The purpose is in walking the path. Shared wonder. When you look up at the sky, you are not alone. Others have looked before you, and others will look after you. Across centuries and continents, human beings share this same awe. Children, poets, scientists, mystics, all gaze upward and feel the same trembling wonder. In that shared wonder, we find community. We find belonging. We find meaning, the small and the vast. Take a slow breath. You are small, but your questions are vast. Your life may last only a handful of decades, but your wonder touches infinity. You walk the same earth as every human who has ever lived, yet your gaze reaches galaxies that even they never saw. To be small, yet connected to the vast, this is the paradox of humanity, and it is beautiful. The creative flame. In searching, humanity creates. We write stories, compose music, paint the heavens, and craft equations to capture the unseen. Every act of creation is part of the search, a response to the mystery, a way of saying, we were here, we wondered, we cared. Through art and science alike, we leave traces of our journey, the search as endless. Perhaps the search will never end. Perhaps that is the point. For if the universe is infinite, then questions are infinite too. And so long as there are humans, there will be wonder. The search itself is meaning. The asking itself is purpose. The journey itself is home. Toward the final step, the stars above glow quietly. The night has carried you far. From rivers to galaxies, from nothingness to infinity, from silence to awe. And now, only one step remains. To embrace the mystery as it is, without demanding resolution. For perhaps the truest wisdom is not in answering the question, but in learning to live beautifully with the fact that it remains. The night has carried you far, from rivers whispering in moonlight, to galaxies burning in silence, to questions too vast for words. Now, as you stand beneath the stars, you feel the journey has not given you answers. It has given you something greater, a deeper wonder. The circle of questions. You began with one question. Why is there something rather than nothing? Along the path, you explored the Big Bang, the quantum vacuum, the multiverse, the fine-tuned laws of the universe. You listened to philosophers and mystics, to science and silence, and yet the question remains. It is still here, still alive, still pulsing in the quiet of your mind. But now, it no longer feels like a burden. It feels like a companion, living the mystery. Perhaps the point was never to solve it. Perhaps the mystery itself is the gift. Every star you see is a reminder. Every breath you take is proof. Existence is here. You are here. You do not need to explain it fully, to live within it deeply. You do not need to grasp infinity, to be part of it. The mystery is not outside you. It flows through you. You are the mystery, the humility of awe. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. Feel your body rest against the ground. In this moment, you are small, but also infinite. Small, because your life is brief. Infinite, because your awareness touches the stars. This humility, this awe, it is enough. It is enough to live, enough to love, enough to wonder. The gentle answer. So why is there something rather than nothing? Perhaps no one will ever know. Perhaps the universe itself is the answer. The river flowing, the galaxies spinning, the silence humming, the awareness within you listening. All of it whispers the same truth. Existence island. And that is miracle enough. Closing the journey. The night sky holds you like a blanket. The stars do not speak, but they shine. And their shining is answer enough. As you close your eyes, you feel no urgency to solve the riddle. You feel peace. You feel wonder. For the mystery of existence is not a problem to be conquered. It is a song to be heard, a silence to be embraced, a gift to be lived. And so you rest, now, beneath the stars, carried gently by the mystery that will never end.